Max Wardell here from the Overhead Athletic Institute. We actually had some questions regarding this particular athlete and the before and after that we posted, and some individuals wanted us to talk about what the difference was. So we've actually been working with this athlete for a little bit of time. There's some definite changes in how he throws, and so we want to highlight it a little bit in this video and talk about some of the changes we made and some of the changes that we are currently working on and why we're doing it like that. So as you can see on the left, this is the before video. Whoops. Go back here. So this is the before video. It's cut off just a little bit. You can see he's just taken the ball out of the glove and his hips are already open towards the target. So his pelvis is facing towards the target. He's already lost some of that gluteal muscle contraction that he could be having later in the throw. So you have to preload the glutes with an eccentric contraction where you actually rotate into internal rotation, flexion, and adduction on the hip. Here he's rotated into external rotation on the hip, and that's why you can see the pelvis rotated forward. So the pelvis is open way too early. He's not staying closed, as some people would say at all, on the left. And he's trying to stay closed later with his shoulders, but he lifts the ball in such a way and has a little hitch where, and this is actually what we initiated working on with him first, is getting his arm in a better position and lifting better. So you can see on that left video that his elbow's way too low and it's going up the entire time. So he's creating a coupling of force at the shoulder and at the elbow, which could in many cases, and does in many cases, lead to some medial elbow pain, ulnar collateral strain, anterior shoulder pain, apprehension, things of that nature, slap tears. But he's losing a lot of velocity because he's not able to use his lat to pull down. We know the lat is going to be a huge accelerator at the end of the throw into internal rotation, as well as pulling into extension of the shoulder from a flexed position where it's pre-stretched. Here he just continues to go up as he goes through maximal external rotation, so he loses contraction of the tricep because he's so extended through his elbow. He loses the lat contraction, and he's going against gravity. And he's kind of pushing the ball. Doesn't get his chest forward very far and doesn't rotate into his hip in the follow-through. So there's a lot wrong with this throw, just to highlight a few of the things. But if we actually look at the video now on the right side of the screen, you can see he initiates into hip internal rotation. He turns his pelvis away from the target. That would be hip internal rotation because the pelvis is moving on the femur. He's in more hip adduction and then into abduction. He's going from flexion to extension, external rotation happening down the mound now as he turns his pelvis towards the target. And he's pushing off that back leg, loading from eccentric to concentric in those hip abductors, the glute med, glute min, and then also the glute max. As he pushes down the mound, you can see the ball is much closer to his center of rotation. So he's able to reduce a lot of the stress there that we've talked about in a lot of our other posts, but I won't go into here. And he reaches the apex of the throw much farther out in front of his chest. So here on the right, he's able to use his lat to pull down. You can see how that looks closer to a lat pull down you might do on an exercise machine for anyone that's not quite familiar with the attachments of the lat. He's also able to use the tricep eccentrically to concentrically because he has more elbow flexion. So the tricep is helping him accelerate the ball, and then he actually gets his chest much farther forward where he releases the ball about there on the right versus there on the left. So he's able to get much farther forward into the throw. He's able to generate more hip to shoulder separation late in the throw and pull the ball down while accelerating around his rib cage quicker with his shoulder and elbow in a more stable position. So this is actually an athlete that came to us from one of the organizations in the area that we work pretty closely with, and he had a plateau in terms of his performance, in terms of his throwing velocity, and we were able to quickly figure out what was going on. As you can see right here, look at how closed away from the target he is on the right, and look at the position of his arm versus the left, where his pelvis is already open to the target way too early. He shortened those external rotators, those hip abductors, way too early in the throw, and he's not able to use it at the end of the throw. So here he just ends up pushing the ball on the left, whereas he's using his entire body to pull down and throw the ball on the right. So just wanted to give you that quick little analysis there. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Any questions, make sure to let us know in the comments section. Send us a tweet or even an email at overheadathletics@gmail.com. All right, guys, till next time. Bye.